Yo, what's going on? Mike from Mike Talk Sports. Michael Chiesa versus Kevin Holland just got made for UFC 291 on July 29th in Salt Lake City, Utah. Let me tell you guys why Kevin Holland will finish Michael Chiesa. So Michael Chiesa obviously has not fought in a very long time and hasn't fought consistently in a long time. He's 35 years old and he's a big 170er in there. He's almost always bigger than his opponents. And one of the first things I always think of when watching a Michael Chiesa fight is, damn, he's that much bigger than his opponent. So he's, again, 6'1", but the issue is he never fights guys that are bigger than him. And Kevin Holland, though his frame not necessarily is bigger than him, he is taller than him in there. Kevin Holland is 6'3", 30 years old, and he is going to have that reach advantage. Something else that is interesting, even though he is the younger fighter, Kevin Holland has significantly more experience than Michael Chiesa, especially as of late. Kevin Holland is 24-9, whereas Michael Chiesa is 16-6. They are both 3-2 in their last 5 fights. So for Michael Chiesa, his last fight, he took an L against Sean Brady via unanimous decision, was really broken in that fight. He consistently kept telling his corner that, man, he's a dog. Man, Sean Brady's stronger than I thought. In my opinion, Michael Chiesa is one of those guys who is so confident, who has such a self-confidence to the point where he is very delusional. And I get it, you have to be somewhat delusional to be a professional athlete. You need to have that self-belief and self-confidence that you are the best in the world. The issue with this in Michael Chiesa fights, I feel like he's mentally broken if he knows his opponent can potentially beat him. And this is what I foresee happening in this Kevin Holland fight. But again, getting into his record, he got submitted by Vicente Luque, and then he had 3 wins before that. One against Neil Magny, one against RDA in what was his most impressive win, in my opinion. And then he beat Diego Sanchez. Whereas for Kevin Holland, of course, he's coming off of that really nice KO against Santiago Ponzinibbio. He lost against Wonderboy Thompson, though he had a really nice first round in there. Obviously, he lost in about 2 minutes against Khamzat Chimaev. He beat Tim Means, and then he beat Alex Oliveira. Breaking down this fight from a stylistic matchup point, Michael Chiesa is a southpaw, whereas Kevin Holland is an orthodox fighter. And on the feet, this fight's not even that close. I hate to say this, but Michael Chiesa is kind of the male version of Juliana Pena when it comes to the striking. He's going to throw out a bunch of southpaw jabs really to establish that distance. Michael Chiesa is either on the back foot constantly the entire fight if you are pressuring him, which I do expect Kevin Holland to do, or he's consistently moving forward. He's very rarely a plotter. He's very rarely standing in one place at one time. Now, he does have good movement, and he does scale the octagon and the fence really well. The issue, and really the first point I want to make, and why I do think Kevin Holland is going to knock out Michael Chiesa in this fight, is because he is very predictable with his feints and with his movement. He has very hard movements to the right, very hard movements to the left, and a skillful striker like Kevin Holland is going to know how to set him up into a very hard movement to the right or left, and Kevin Holland is going to set up that head kick, and I do envision Kevin Holland really catching Michael Chiesa running into a big head kick. Another issue for Michael Chiesa in this fight is that it is taking place at Salt Lake City, Utah. I don't know about you guys. I absolutely hate watching fight cards in Salt Lake City, Utah, because most fighters on the card gas out extremely quickly. So when you take a guy like Michael Chiesa, who's going to be very grapple heavy in this fight, if he has a couple takedowns stuffed, he's going to gas very quickly because he's very notorious for gassing in his fight. Add that to the fact that it's in Salt Lake City, Utah, and it really is a disaster waiting to happen, a knockout waiting to happen for Michael Chiesa. Besides some solid 1-2s that jab straight, Michael Chiesa doesn't offer much on the feet, whereas Kevin Holland really is going to mix it up. He's going to spam those side kicks to the body to really keep Michael Chiesa at that striking range rather than that grappling range. Now, Michael Chiesa actually has pretty solid head movement, so I don't necessarily think Kevin Holland is going to be jab straighting him into oblivion. I think Kevin Holland is going to need to mix in those hooks to the body, those hooks to the head, those overhand rights in order to really clip Michael Chiesa. But again, those kicks, those leg kicks to really limit the momentum and movement of Michael Chiesa. Those side kicks to the body that really keeps him at striking range, and then those hooks to the head and those hooks to the body really are going to find a place on Michael Chiesa. But getting into the grappling department for Michael Chiesa, I really like him as a wrestler. He has really strong takedowns, and the thing I do really like about Michael Chiesa's grappling is the second he gets a takedown, mid-air when he's transitioning from a takedown to a grappling situation on the ground, he's going to try to transition into side control, and he's going to try to transition into a dominant position to try to get a submission or to try to get really dominant ground and pound. I can see Michael Chiesa landing a couple takedowns in this fight, but the thing is about Kevin Holland, he doesn't like grappling. He's not a grappling fan. He doesn't get discouraged necessarily, though, when there is grappling in his fights, and he doesn't really panic. He stays very patient and really tries to work his way up to get to his feet rather than right away he's going to try to get to his feet. No, Kevin Holland is going to settle into his guard and really be patient, especially against a really good grappler and a really solid submission artist in Michael Chiesa. I know that Khamzat Chimaev submitted Kevin Holland in about 2 minutes, but he did have some really nice takedown defense in scrambles within those 2 minutes. Again, Khamzat somewhat ragdolled him, but Michael Chiesa is definitely no Khamzat Chimaev. I think Michael Chiesa will have some moments in the grappling department in the first round. I wouldn't be surprised if he had about 2 minutes of control time and potentially even takes Kevin Holland's back in the first round. But in my opinion, Kevin Holland gets it done via a second round knockout. I just think Michael Chiesa, a round and a half into this fight, is going to be extremely tired. I think Kevin Holland has a really nice finish ability on the feet. I think Michael Chiesa is going to be trying to evade those jabs, avoid those big straights from Kevin Holland, and I do think he's going to run into a head kick. Thanks for listening, guys. Let me know in the comment section below, who do you have winning this fight, Michael Chiesa or Kevin Holland? And do you agree with my take that I just hate Salt Lake City, Utah fight cards?